Hello, this is the group number 1, and we are students from the Ahuachapan University Center of the Western Multidisciplinary Campus of the University of El Salvador. And it is a pleasure for us to introduce our topic. Our topic is the influence of the virtuality in the desertion and competencies of the students of Level 2 of the English Extension Program at Ahuachapan University Center, Western Multidisciplinary Campus of the University of El Salvador during June and July 2021. And the purpose of this research project is that we can study the phenomena of the desertion of some of the students of the program that for different reasons they may not be able to complete the 20 levels. So for that reason, we decide to investigate through this topic. The approach of this investigation, we want to do it through the qualitative method to know from the experience of the people that we're going to be interviewing how this phenomena affects their process of learning English through the virtual technologies. And we want to start saying that one of the particularities of the Ahuachapan English Extension Program of the Western Multidisciplinary Campus of the University of El Salvador is that it's based on studying 20 levels of English, of the English program. Actually, is the program that we are just finishing right now. Something that happens is that in the first levels, many of the students, they start with a lot of excitement, but during the process, they start dropping off of the English program. And we want to find what the reasons are, and somehow we want to identify if the virtuality of the classes not being face-to-face, if this is causing any problem or this is affecting in a particular way. So we want to identify how this have an influence on what's going on from the students that are dropping off the English program. The first chapter describe the problem to investigate and the methodology that will be implemented to find the different results, defines also the objectives, a general objective that is incorporated, and considers how to analyze the virtual classes, how they have influence in the desertion of the students of the level 2. Also includes several specific objectives. There is a general hypothesis which suggests that the virtual classes cause desertion in the level 2, and definitely that also affect the competencies of the students. We incorporate two specific hypotheses as well that suggest that the technology tools improve also some competencies of the students of level 2. The second chapter provides all the theoretical framework. It provides all the information that researchers have developed, and also a good amount of valuable information that is collected from some other sources of information. Some other resources tells us how this problem in the study contains historical components and how this affects before through the eyes of other investigators. The third chapter, it talks about the methodological design for the investigation to contain elements such as the experience of the students, the teachers, and the real stories told by the actors, and this is in. The reports includes the information about population study, specifies the methodology of the data analysis and the interpretation procedures. The fourth chapter contains all the data analysis and interpretation. Here's where the instrument used during the investigation required the answer of the people interviewed, but also an analysis and interpretation of the researchers. The fifth chapter will take the reader to the conclusions and recommendations that the researchers agree in line with the responses of the interviews. In this chapter, it can be seen the hypotheses were proved or not, and also recommendations that may improve the program in the future. So basically, this is what is going to be developed during all this work. And I want to start talking about the chapter number 1, which is the statement of the problem. Here is the description of the problem, and the problem is that a pandemic caused by COVID-19 causes panic worldwide. It spread rapidly from symptomatic carriers around the world, people that were traveling from different places, from different countries, especially coming from Wuhan, China. All these situations caused panic in our country, and the government of El Salvador decided to shut down the economy, starting with the education and quickly closing different places where people were not allowed to go out, and then people have to stay in a quarantine. The Ahuachapan Extension Program of the Western Multidisciplinary Campus of the University of El Salvador was required to move from face-to-face classes to the online mode, thus making it possible for the students to teach and to adapt all this methodology from a traditional way in a classroom to the use of technology and different platforms, making it possible to continue developing the program. Considering all these limitations present while teaching on the online modality, make us analyze the desertion of students at beginning. Considering all the limitations present in the process of teaching through the online modality, make us to analyze the desertion of the students at the beginning of the English levels, especially in the level 2, where we want to focus our investigation. Furthermore, this desertion made it necessary to identify the causes that produce this phenomenon. Also, in the chapter 1, we have the research question, which is, does it influence the virtuality on the desertion and competencies of the students of level 2 of the English Extension Program at Ahuachapan University Center, Western Multidisciplinary Campus of the University of El Salvador during June and July 2021? Also, in this chapter, we have the objectives of the research, which in the general objective, we consider to analyze how the virtual classes influence on the desertion of these students. In the specific objectives, we want to study if the changes to the online modality has affected the competencies of the students of level 2 of the English Extension Program. Also, another specific objective is that we want to investigate how the virtual tools can contribute to improve the competencies of the students of level 2 of the English Extension Program as well. Also, in the same chapter, we define the hypothesis, and our research hypothesis is the virtual of the classes produces desertion and affect the competencies of the students of level 2 of the English Extension Program at Ahuachapan University Center, Western Multidisciplinary Campus of the University of El Salvador during June and July 2021. Also, we decide that we need a null hypothesis. And the null hypothesis says that the virtuality of the classes does not produce desertion of the students of level 2 of the English Extension Program. Also, we have two specific hypotheses, and the first one is the change of the online classes had affected the competencies of the students of level 2 of the English Extension Program. And the second specific hypothesis is the virtual tools can contribute to improve the competencies of the students of level 2 of the English Extension Program at the Ahuachapan University Center, Western Multidisciplinary Campus of the University of El Salvador during June and July 2021. Something very important that will define a lot and mostly of the work in our investigation is basically the operationalization of the variables. For that reason, we decided to design a form where we can include the general objective, the specific objectives, the general hypothesis, the specific hypothesis, and the variables. And through all these, also we can talk about the indicators, and from the indicators, which here is virtual tools, teachers' knowledge, internet accessibility, online evaluation, scholar desertion, economic reasons, lack of time, motivation, level of stress, deficit of attention, lack of performance, learning problems. Then from all those indicators, we decide to develop several questions that are included on the instruments. Questions like, do the students have the necessary tools to connect virtually to their classes. And that is just an example of several questions that we made. These questions are going to be used in the instrument as interviews that we are going to be developing with the teacher of level 2 and some students from level 2. As you may know, the pandemic came to change a lot of things in our reality, and education was not the exception. For that reason, we try to justify in our work and in chapter 1 as a justification. The focus of our investigation is to find the reasons why the students of level 2 of the English extension program do not continue the following levels and express how the pandemic and the virtuality have affected the accomplishing of this program. It is necessary to identify the methods used in the presential classes and how they are different from the virtual classes during this pandemic, to know if those differences affect or not the decision to continue or not the classes in the future. It becomes crucial for us to find if there are some other investigations that has been made somehow similar to the topic that we are going to analyze in this research. So this is an exciting subject that we hope that can provide us with some valuable information that will help us to do some great recommendations to an improvement of the program as the realities continue or they change.
Hi everybody, this day talk about the thesis for the chapter 2, and in the first point is the education in El Salvador. The education in El Salvador is very good. I think that is very good. The education in El Salvador, we have a good professor and good teacher that teach in the El Salvador is very good. And in the beginning, for the you start to study in El Salvador for the kindergarten, the second for the school, the third for the high school, in the last for the university. I think that the English education in El Salvador in the university is a high level, in that we have the study very hard in improve many things to do the things the best form, to pass your material, and to do the best efforts for to finally your career or your other career that you choose in the beginning. The English in El Salvador, here in Ahuachapán, there are opportunity to learn English. That is English extension program at Ahuachapán University Center. Is a good help, because here in the Ahuachapán there is not university here in Ahuachapán. Only university in Santana City, to have a extension to study English here in Ahuachapán is very good. Is not only English to can learn French in the other materials in here in the extension program at Ahuachapán University Center. There are many things about that. I think that in El Salvador don't have the student don't have motivation to choose the the career for the English. The major is important, the English, the second language, to learn English, because you can work in call center, or for the teacher, or a teacher in the school. And it's good to have a good job, right? How a teacher, or to work in a call center. I think that affected all in the in this day. I think this the all education here in Salvador, in all the world, is the pandemic of the COVID-19. And the students for the English is very difficult to study for the pandemic, and to receive the class virtual. And it's very hard receive the class, the virtual, for the students. It's very hard for the something students they have a work, and they have a job, and something students work in is very difficult study for the classes virtual. And I think that it's very good to have this extension program at the Washington University Center. Is very good, and is very good. Is really important to do in follow ground in this city in Washington. It's all for me, and thank you. And
Hello, my name is Amanda, and I'm going to explain the chapter number 3, which is the methodological design. So in the frame 1, we have the research methods. It consists in the present research study. It means the influence of the virtually in the desertion of the students of level 2 of the English extension program at Ahuachapán University Center, Western multidisciplinary campus of the University of El Salvador during June and July 2021. So was chosen to do use of a qualitative paradigm because a qualitative paradigm, it has an object to understand people's thoughts or feelings about any phenomenon of interest. So also the collection of information is in a natural language, or in a qualitative information, I mean words. So this type of research has the main characteristics of understanding, exploring, and assessing situations from the perspective of the participants in a natural context as well. So through the qualitative paradigm, it will be analyzed not only as a social or a human problem, but it will also verify if the hypothesis is valid or not. So in the frame 2, we have the methodology of the planning phase. We have the research techniques. The research technique used in this investigation is the qualitative paradigm, because it will be able to collect experience, ideas, and feelings of the people that directly lived that problem. So in this case, how the understand of the students' desertion of the English extension program at the level 2. So also we can collect information in a direct way, to provide the change for the deeper analysis that goes beyond numbers. So in the frame 3, we have the observation. The observation, it will be able to observe how the classes are being developed. So the researchers had to access some of the online classes to see the mechanisms of the teaching and learning process, because all the classes are virtual at the moment. So to research talking with the teacher of the level 2. Then we have as a frame 4 in-depth interviews. So in order to collect the necessary information to analyze the issues, I mean, the researchers proceed to do an interview with the teacher and some students of the level 2 to have some information or to have answers, valuable information to understand the reasons for the problem. So then we have the instrumentation. This is essential in every type of investigation because it helps us to measure and analyze different aspects of the problem. This topic explores the causes of the desertion of the students. In the beginning levels, we are using the interview for that, for get some answers about it. So using this interview, we can deeper for that using surveys. I mean, with the interviewers, teachers and students can tell us their points of view of what team make the students or what's the problem that make students leave that levels. So using this instrument, we also may note the points of the view of the students as well. So then we have the in-depth interview guides. The context of the in-depth interview is to have an open-ending conversation with a person. It means this method is oriented to obtain detailed information about any topic in a specific. So this methodology is well known as a qualitative research. We can say mention some of advantage in the using of deep interviews. And there are deep interviews like we can anchor value in 6, and we enable you to find out the real story from the people and how they or why they leave the levels. Then we have the observation wide. The observation wide, it's a research in successful to extend that it satisfies in the research objectives by capturing relevant events and participants along with the constructs of interest. So when the researchers combine the observation and the deep interviews, they can control the course of the interviews and be able to moderate better this problem. So then we have the description of population. The population to investigate will be students of level 2 of the English levels. In the English program, they verily studied the English level with different causes and problems according to the primary investigation topic. So the other population will be the teacher who is teaching that level and even though this level before, with their actual and previous experience of seeing desertion by the way of the students. The investigation will be able to identify the different causes. Then we have the building report. The report forms it's based in a meaningful, close and harmony relationships between people. It means the sense of connection that you can get when you meet someone you like and someone you trust and whose point of view you understand. it's that connection that you have with that person. Also, we have the methodology of the data analysis and interpretation phase. So in this research, the methodology that of the data analysis, sorry, is when you decide to investigate, in this case, why students drop out of the level 2 of the English extension program. So we have to know about the reasons why students decide to do that, and another and reasons that some students of the course, I don't know, like some of them work, or some of them don't have enough time to connect to virtual classes maybe. And that in the methodology of the data analysis is that it is investigate about the reasons of the desertion of the students. So finally, after collecting information from the teachers and the students from the level 2, sorry, we can collect also more information, doing online interviews, or asking them a specific questions about it, about why they drop of the level 2. So also we can formulate a strategy to make the English language attractive for students who are motivated to take some levels or English classes. Sorry. So this can help. This can help students to perform the jobs as an English teacher, or I don't know, perform them to another job using the English language, because it is so important to learn a new language that you know it's important around the world.
Continue with the chapter 4. Um, for the verification and some student practices with the main topic. In this case, we select a specific question for them, and we analyze that information that they say to us. In the first question we have, do the students have the necessary tools to connect virtually to their classes? And we can analyze in this question from the teacher. She said, it has been said by the teacher of the level 2, not all the students have access to the necessary tools, especially the virtuals. Also, she provides an extra items that go beyond the virtuals, putting in evidence that sometimes the lack of resources is really complicated. The number 2 says, do the students have a good internet to receive their classes? And the analysis for this question is, the companies advertise their internet as a pretty fast connection, but the reality is that to have a fast and good connection, it is necessary to pay higher prices for this kind of service, because the students prioritize how they spend their money. They sign up contracts with the internet provider for the lowest price internet service to save money, which becomes a slow and deficient service. The number 3, we have our own virus. We have the online evaluation to not cover all the needs to know how much the students have learned. The answer that does not cover the didactic goals is very categorical and puts a special emphasis in that even in the virtual mode, the students can participate. But for the evaluation, it is necessary the face-to-face classes and assessments where they can see as they are being evaluated. In the number 4, we have, which do you think are the most common reasons why the students abandon their English levels? Analyzing the information that she provided us, we have in tune with the teacher's response and the prioritization of the reason that caused the students to drop out. The economic situation is the main reason, especially in the answers related to the previous question. We have seen how things related to financial resources are determinants. In second place is the fact that at home, some of the students can experience different dynamics that become problematic to continue studying. Also, in a third place, but not less important, is the lack of motivation that the students experiences for different reasons. In the question number 5, we have, has it been stressful for you as a teacher to teach through an electronic device too much time? We can analyze this question like this. For the teacher, it has not been a big issue to teach in alternative modes such as the virtual environment and the need to be in front of the electronic device to provide her classes to the students, even though she expresses her preference for the face that offers a lot of extra benefits that cannot be canalized in the virtual way. In the number 6, we have, do you consider that it's too hard for your students to learn English? In general terms, it is hard for the students of level 2 to learn English, and the teacher considered that even with the lack of resources and all the additional complications, the virtual modality causes they are willing to their best effort to learn the new language. In the question number 7, we have, do you consider that the majority of the students approve of the level they are studying? The answer of the teacher allows us to analyze in this way. The participation of the students during the classes, the collaboration with themselves doing their homework or doing extra effort in each class has become a key factor for the students to approve the level. Right now, we have the points of view from 3 students. The question is related again with the hypothesis that we and the first question we have, do the teachers have knowledge of the virtual environment? From the answers of the 3 students, we can analyze the following statement. As we analyze the answer provided by the students, we assume that not necessarily the 3 of them are talking about the same teacher. Out of the 3 interviewed with the students, one considers do not have the necessary knowledge of the virtual environment and the tools provided by the technology. In the meantime, the other 2 that the teacher is provided with the technological tools. According to these students, the teacher not only has a good knowledge of those tools, but also use different options available in the virtual world and makes the students connect better with the class. In the second question, we have, do you have the necessary economic resources to pay the tuition to study English? We can analyze in this way. We found some similitudes in the answer, but also some differences. One of the students considered that not all his classmates have the necessary resources to pay tuition to continue their English training, but does not describe if he has or not the resources needed. In the third question, we have, how much time do you invest taking online class every day? The answer of the three students are like the same, but we can analyze the next statement. Observing the three answers of the students, we can say that the majority of the students only attend the classes, and that is all the time during the day that they invest. And number 4 says, is the time an issue for you to connect to the online classes? And again, the answer of the three students, we can say that they are similar, and we can analyze in this way. We can observe in the answer of the students that the majority of the time students experiment with issues to connect to the online classes because they have to work. The three of them said that they work, and in some cases they are working when the classes are in course, so they cannot attend in that time the classes. The number 5, we study the motivation of the students during the virtual classes, and we can analyze the answer of the students and say that they feel motivated by receiving the English classes in a virtual way. They say that they could plan their day doing other activities and entering English class. They noted that the virtual classes allow them that in other ways, most of them, if the classes were face-to-face, they couldn't attend to them. The number 6 question says, from 1 to 5, how receptive are you during the online English classes? Well, again, the three answers of the students are similar, and they put and they give to this question then a 2. Why that? Okay. They say that the virtual English classes are too short, and in some cases they can study more topics or even practice the pronunciation. Many of them are interested in learning this language because they really seek a broad knowledge of the language. Finally, they say that classes are very interesting and give them the motivation to continue learning the second language. The number 7 says, are you successful in your goals of learning during this English? With the three answers of the students, we can say that all of them acquire knowledge of the language in each class, and it is a big success for them. The number 8 says, has it been stressful to receive your classes through an electronic device for too much time? Again, we have a similar answer from the students, and we observing the answers, and we can say that electronic devices allow to students to be part of the English course and learn the language. These represent more opportunities than being in a classroom face-to-face. Instead of being stressful, they say that electronic devices simplify the hard work of traveling to the university to receive the class. And finally, the number 9 question says, do you consider it's too hard for you to learn English? And in this case, we have like a different points of view from the students. To some of them, it's difficult learn the English because they didn't have the basis from the high school and started right now with the English levels. It's been a hard work for them dominate the pronunciation, the vocabulary, and other English forms. Then we have the interpretation of the results. The general premise, the influence of the virtually in the dissertation and competencies of the students of level 2 of the English extension program at Ahuachapan University Center, Western Multidisciplinary Campus of the University of El Salvador during June and July 2021. According to the investigation results, there have been many changes in the teaching learning process under the virtual mode, which depended on various circumstances expressed by the observation units that had been considered. For example, the lack of motivation, the economic resources, financial resources, or the time that they invest during the day to study the language. Finally, we can conclude with the chapter number 5, conclusions and recommendation. In the part of discussion of results, we can say around the discussion may identify how the virtual mode has an influence provoking the students to leave the English formation. Has been found that of course there are some people that are affected, and definitely many of them believe that the classes face to face are better. However, for the majority consider that online classes represent an important opportunity for the students to have access to this kind of education and at the same time being able to work. They think that it's possible that if the classes are in the university campus, some may not be able to attend. The students use at least 2 hours a day for their English learning process. It is uncommon that they double check the recorded videos that are in the platforms, but the majority are part of the video calls and rarely miss the online classes. As a conclusion with this investigation, we can say dissertation of the students will always be a topic that depends on many factors, as we said. With the information collected during the investigation, students suddenly desert from the levels of English programs, principally because of that they cannot afford the payments because of the financial situation right now in the country. But nowadays, the problem of the digital devices causes students who don't have digital tools like smartphones, computers, and the internet to choose not to study a second language, in this case, the English language. In conclusion, many students suffer from lack of motivation because of that, and this problem is related to the time they invest in their classes, distracting things like work or other activities from the schools and even universities. Furthermore, they agreed with the virtual classes, but eventually these type of classes do not have the normal levels of quality as face-to-face. Teachers cannot evaluate students' skills as well with the virtual tools. This could cause a lack of interest from the students, and eventually the students desert from the levels. Now we can say to extension program. We have some recommendation and and we are giving as a group this research and giving help to the authorities who are in charge of the English program and be capable of helping the students in the process of learning in the English programs and motivating them to take the levels and the classes. Speaking from the economic and financial topic, if possible, to the university, study the possibilities to request funds from the federal government to as a subsidize the price in order that some students that are not able to continue because of the lack of the money can have another opportunity. The English program could be remade and restructured to motivate the students and for the teacher to measure the level of the skill learned in the language from the students. The university could study the possibilities to create classes face to face following the rules to avoid the problems of health in the pandemic of COVID 19 to the students who don't have the digital resources to take the virtual classes. It may be helpful for the students to have more than one option on the schedules to be more accessible to all kinds of students, especially for those who work and who do not have an adequate plan to connect to the virtual classes during the day. And to the English teacher, we can say, according to the answer of the student, if possible, the teacher can be advocate and move the idea to the authorities that take the decision at the university that the students that cannot access online classes can go to the university campus, as we say later, to take the face-to-face modality as the pandemic allowed it. And just that, and we can solve like the appendices, the questionnaire related with the hypothesis, and some question that we ask to teacher and students, and just that. Thank you for your attention.